All right, let's see if in case this time around it's recording. Yes, it is. My mic's actually working, so this is not Theo's fault this time around. Welcome everyone to Last Week with Cast 5 podcast. My name is Fives. I'm joined by my wonderful castmates, Daniel and Theo.
Hey guys.
Hey.
See, the names work this time. Everything was working well, so I'm hoping we won't have any issues when we're recording it. But
Okay, just blame on me again.
it's a lot easier to blame it on you, Theo. Trust me, a lot easier.
Every time. It should be a ritual now. You blame me first, and then everything will go well.
There you go. We need to sacrifice Theo to the gods, man, to the old gods and new, Daniel. But
I knew I should have made that record.
but yes, before we jump to the topic of the show, which is overdue sequels, I did want to touch base on what we all have been playing, and I am very excited. So I'm gonna go first because I really want to touch base on this. Endwalker, guys.
Down. He's
Yes,
so pumped.
I am so pumped. Endwalker, guys. Oh my god, this game got delisted. This is how popular this game is. And I have to say that I've never heard of any game prior to this where you have to delist a game based on popularity. Like, generally speaking,
Twice. Not once.
Twice.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because, like, obviously, Cyberpunk was the biggest thing that got when it got delisted off Sony, and they were like, oh, the PS4 version doesn't work. No, this is because the game is far too popular. And I did not know if this game would actually live up to the hype, truth be told. Because, like, yes, Final Fantasy 14 was really, really good. Shadowbringers really brought me in and so forth. But going in, everyone was like, oh, Endwalker's amazing. This, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I don't know if this is really... I don't know. Well, let's see. And holy fuck. It's true. I am right before the final dungeon. Like I'm like getting prepped to go to the final dungeon. And level 89. And besides some pacing issues, which, let's be real, any MMO, whose trousers are you saving? Right? You're gonna go around, do all those random weird fetch quests.
Again?
Yeah.
Is it always Alphanon?
No, it's actually not Alphanon. Like you get separated a lot. Like you get separated a lot from the core group, and you're doing different things, but they've tried to spice it up in their own different take. But there's this area called Elpis, and this is for you too, when you finally get there. It's a picture that I sent yesterday saying, yo, this game's gorgeous. That area, when you go in and to when you leave, the entire mythos behind Final Fantasy 14 changes. Your perception of the game, of what you've been told, changes. And the answers are, it's exposition land. And it is not fucking, like, it hurts when you're watching everything and you're going through it. It's not a fun trip. And it is so good. It is so good that when you have those little bit of pacing issues, and they don't do it once, there's multiple times throughout the entire expansion where they'll drop this huge exposition on you, and then they'll be like, let's take a quick moment and have a few, take a couple of breaths. It's okay. Go talk to...
Go find the virginity that someone apparently lost on the road.
Exactly, right? So then, and the virginity, chances are, that child loves to run away, and you're like, where is this kid? Let's go find it. It's trying to find its lost home. There you go, Theo. I'm gonna stop your jokes every single time. But joking aside, but it is like, yeah, you have a few. You take a couple of deep breaths, and you're like, you have a little bit of downtime, and then it throws
some heavy stuff at you, and
again,
then take a break with some fetch quests.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of pacing issues when it comes to it, because the type of fetch quest, sometimes you're just like, yo, why? This is stupid. But like,
especially after Shadowbringers, and you're so used to how streamlined they made all of this fetch quest. Like, everything is in one place. You just talk to everything in that same place.
This is very similar. This is very, very similar.
Okay.
But it's just the amount of content that they're going to drop on you. And then they're going to tell you to sit on it and think about it while you're going and finding virginity down the street, looking for that broken, burnt home, because that's where she called homeland, in Garlemont. You're like, why? So, but when you're sitting and simmering into it, you're just like, Yeah, there's a lot of good parallels here, man. I really like the fact that it's not good versus bad. I love that because, and especially for you, Daniel, because you're at the end of Shadowbringers, you are about to go and figure out what the hell's going on. And you've seen that scene with Emmett Sulch telling you about Zodiark and Heidelin, about the different reflections and all that stuff. They're going to take that. They're going to take the final days and they're going to more elaborate on it, what it is, and give you all the answers and all that stuff that you really, really want. And it's done in such a good way, man. It's done in such a good fucking way. Where I like the fact it's not, once again, I'm repeating myself, but it's not good versus evil, man. And if they stick the landing, and every reviewer that I trust has said they stuck the landing. If they really stick the landing, this is probably going to be top 3 Final Fantasies ever that I've played.
All right.
So
from the sounds of it, it's like Shadowbringers and Endwalker is like part 1 and 2 of Natsuko Ishikawa's saga.
I completely agree with you. Where they were at Stormblood versus where they are with Shadowbringers and especially Endwalker, you're like, did you get a different writer and just decided, oh, we're going to change the theme? There's this anime. This is what it reminds me of. There's this anime called Tsubasa. It's not the soccer one. It's the one where this girl...
Chronicles.
Yes. So, Daniel, I'm going to give you a very quick, 10-second summary. This girl has magical powers. She gets these wings. These wings are her memories. So the wings dissipate. The guy who loves her is now going around the world with her, collecting the feathers to regain her memory back. Why? Because some shit's gonna go down. And it's a cutesy fairy tale. Yeah, it's a cutesy fairy tale anime. And then you get to the end, where people's arms are being chopped off. It just...
Arms are getting torn out.
Eyes are getting ripped out. It just, on a whim... changes.
Goes from a rom-com to something a horror.
Yeah, and the story, the way they tell the story is so much better. All the answers you had for 60 episodes were like, yo, there's no way. It's not going anywhere, man. Fuck, just get the feather. Why are we doing this? Why do we have to carry water up the hill? Just kill the guy, take the thing. Later on, they're like, yeah, we're just going to kill the guy, take the thing. So it gets... the entire maturity of the show changes, goes from rated E for everyone to rated M for mature plus 17, so it's great. And this is what it feels like from Stormblood. And Stormblood was pretty heavy, the second half with Xenos and everything and so forth, but
Yotsuyu and
but it's crazy because the first expansion is very you trying to figure out what's happening in the provinces. And you're trying to take different faction, Ulda and Gridania and Limsa Lomsa, bound them together. Then they're against the common enemy, which is the Empire, Garlemald. Exactly. Then they go into Heaven's Ward, which is, let's just discuss other species and their war and what's happening and bring other species into the play. We're going to go to Canada. Ishgard, let's be real, is Canada of Eorzea. And then...
I don't know, it feels more like Russia.
No. Garlemald's definitely Russia. Are you kidding me? You haven't played... Yeah, you haven't
just
played.
Make the bad guys Russia.
No. There's a reason for that. Once you play Garlemald, it's snowy, it's all that stuff too. It seems like more like it. But then when you go in Stormblood, you get to see Garlemald, but you also get the eastern side now. So it's country-based. It's no longer just... They're expanding different continents and they made the world bigger. Shadowbringers, they took one world and they brought another dimension in, right? The first. And this Endwalker, they're touching base on gods and deities and stuff, right? Heidelin and Zodiark and all of that. So it brings the whole concept from where you were.
Endwalker, you're not even on Earth anymore.
I'm not going to answer that, but...
Everyone knew that. Everyone knew that.
Yeah, you're going to go to the moon, yes, but the moon is
Everyone knew that.
Is it the moon? No.
You do visit the moon, very early in the game, level 83.
Okay. I was trying to keep things ambiguous to keep myself spoiler free. I don't know it's the moon. It could be
trailer.
something else.
It's in the trailer. And if you thought it was something
I know,
else, get off.
It looks like the moon, but you know,
it is the moon. It is the moon.
You were just
this is Final
delusional,
Fantasy.
Dan.
It could be anything.
Yeah, well,
it could be a dream.
We traveled to the first, right? From the source of the first in Shadowbringer. So who knew? Maybe it was a different world. But no, Moon's such a it's a small element to it. It's done really well. It's not really a small element, but it's done really well. But it is grand scheme of things. What you just find, remember, Elpis. When you get to this area called Elpis, when you leave Elpis, I would like you guys to contact me and just tell me how you feel. We'll have those conversations because yeah, it changes. Everything changes. Everything gets put in perspective, but they did well. I really hope to stick the landing.
I'll try to remember that in a couple months.
Yeah, don't worry. I will remind you. But on that note, Daniel, what have you been playing?
Well, because you and Walker players have been hogging the Final Fantasy servers, I haven't been able to get on for a while. So I've just been messing around on some other games I have. So right now I've just been playing NHL 20. I'm just messing around on that for a bit. Figured why not? Try, I've been doing the Become a Pro career phase one. So I did that initially when I first got my PS4 because it came with NHL 17. So I played for one of the small OHL teams in Canada and ended up being drafted by, I don't even remember who, but I was really disappointed. I think it was like Anaheim. It was some random American NHL team. So I was like, nope, I'm done. This sucks. I was like, nothing is Anaheim, but like, I want a Canadian team.
Yeah.
Like, even if it wasn't the Leafs. A Canadian team would have been nice.
Yeah.
But I figured I'd mess around on 20. I got it on sale ages ago, and it's not too bad. The graphics are a step up for sure. So I was just messing around on that, doing the Maritimes, Quebec leagues, and see, hopefully get drafted by the Leafs.
Making a shittier game, a shittier team with just a shittier player. But yeah. I have lost all faith in Toronto Leafs, man.
Yeah. With all sports games, I suck.
I think high school. No, to answer Theo's question. When was the last time I actually cared about the Leafs? It's like probably high school.
That's when you gave up hope.
Yeah, after that I gave up hope.
But yeah, with all sports games, I suck at them. So for the first couple of games, I tried getting the puck and ended up tripping every time and getting penalties. And right now I have the...
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. It gets insane. But right now, I think I played about 30 games in the career so far. And I have like 150 penalty minutes. When the rest of my team has like 8, 6, 4... So I got kicked out of a couple of games for misconduct. I tried body checking, it'd be interference, and I send the guy flying, and they're like, "You're done." I'm like, "Oh."
You played it like it was a football game.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you should play Madden.
I get 100%. Violent. But yeah, until the wait times for Final Fantasy kind of calm down a bit. Just messing around. Got some odd games and trying some indie games that I got in Black Friday that I want to try.
Did you get any of the major titles on sale, like Deathloop or Guardians, Ratchet and Clank?
I got Deathloop. I didn't get Guardians or Ratchet and Clank. I was going to wait till Boxing Day for those.
Okay. No, fair enough. Do you... Yeah, have a look. Ratchet and Clank is pretty good. Like, that was probably my game of the year this year until Endwalker happened.
All right.
And... Returnal and Tales of Arise are the two games that I'm really looking forward to. Like they were on sale before, but it's like you can't 6 games, man. It's gonna be too much. I bought 4 games and it was $200. And I'm just like, all right, well that's enough. I'll wait. I'm sure for Christmas time, like I'll probably get like gift cards and things like that I can probably end up using towards it. So no, that's cool. NHL. Never played it. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I had to take a break from Mafia after that. I got stuck on that racing level. I'm going to need a whole day just to sit down and just focus on it to get past it. So yeah, I figured I'd do something light and easy for a bit.
Too much effort. I agree.
Yeah.
Theo, what about you, sir?
So, as you may know from last episode, I haven't bought Endwalker yet, and it's kind of too late now, since they delisted all the shit. So I've been playing this game on YouTube where it's basically I try to find Endwalker music while navigating past all the spoilers. And well, sometimes I still run into them. So that kind of sucks.
What? Why would you do that?
Because I want to listen to the Endwalker main theme.
Okay, yeah, the music's actually really good, so I don't blame you. But okay,
you guys have to listen to the main theme. You know,
No.
you can stream these things.
Yeah, but Spotify doesn't.
You don't need to go.
It doesn't have it yet.
It doesn't have the official versions. It only has like the cover versions. But okay, so true story. Downloaded when I think it's maybe about like 3 days ago. I was trying to just check how long the queue time was for Endwalker. So before I logged in, and my PlayStation 5 is having a little bit of an issue where when I come back from rest mode, the Wi-Fi signal doesn't get picked up. So the store and any online connection won't connect. It takes about like 10-15 seconds until it actually connects back. It's only I know. It's only when I go in rest mode and I come back on. So apparently it is a known issue. I was going through it and people are like, oh, just use plug it in, use a hardwire connection. Yeah. And I can't. I moved it from one side to another side because like where it was originally, it wasn't picking up a signal. So like even on Final Fantasy 14, it says like the signal strength now like excellent versus poor, even though it's 5 feet difference where I moved it. But whatever, it's a concrete wall, so I'm assuming that's the reason why it's not picking it up, right? But yeah. So there was an update for Endwalker that I was installing. And it wasn't like, maybe it was an update, maybe it wasn't, but it basically, the game was taking a while for it actually pop up, for it to like start on my PS5. So if you are on its page, you can see videos that people have been posting. So the very first video said final boss and secret. I don't know what secret it was, but final boss and secret, and you see the face of the final boss.
Ouch.
Yeah, I'm surprised PlayStation doesn't let you hide that shit.
I know, it's grayed out, but you can still see the video, the frame. So I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And
I remember having that issue on PS4 as well.
Yeah. It didn't ruin anything because it doesn't really give you like the visual itself. You're like, who is that? Like that was that thing, but like it stuck because I knew like now anytime I'm gonna meet a character that looks anything identical, I'm like, I know who you are, right? What's your motivations behind everything? So suffice to say, I met that character, and I'm going through it, and I get it why it's the final. She's the final boss of the entire fucking story, but fucking PlayStation, man. Fucking PlayStation.
It's so hard to avoid spoilers on anything that has to.
YouTube, I had to clear my history multiple times. The moment I went through the reviews, I watched Easy Allies reviews, and Damiani gave it a 9.5, and he's a huge Final Fantasy fanatic too, right? So he went through it and everything, and he was waiting for it. So I know like my taste is going to be very similar to what, if he likes it, chances are I'm also going to like it. So when I went through, he went through everything and he mentioned pacing. I'm like, I'm there, man. I feel it sometimes. I'm like, yo, come on, man. Let me just go next story beat. I want to see the next story beat, but you can't. Like even in that case, it wouldn't make sense. So they give you a little bit of time to go through it. And then he mentions is like, yeah, everything makes sense, blah, 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 blah. They stuck the landing and I was like, oh yes, it's great. Remove my history. Remove my cookies, everything I had to do just to make sure I don't see any spoilers. And while I wait, PlayStation fucking showed me the last boss. It was the same thing as
the effort you put in.
It was the same thing happened with Final Fantasy VII Remake as well, because the final boss are like, oh hey, the final boss. It's a Sephiroth. And I'm like, what? He's the final boss? But this is just part one? But yeah, okay. I was excited though because I'm like, yay!
What can you do, eh?
We can fight him. But yeah, it's
And you can see him in glorious HD.
exactly.
All that beautiful hair.
It's true. He has long silver hair. He does. But on that note, though, Theo, so since you have somehow been navigating, you've seen a lot of spoilers?
Now, I've only seen one, and then afterwards, I basically narrowed my search things down so that it doesn't just show Endwalker anymore.
Okay.
I only look for a specific song.
And this would be for both of you. Anything to do with Heidelin? Anything to do with Zodiark? Anything to do with...
That's the part that...
Yeah.
That's the part that I got.
He's already screwed himself over with that.
Oh, no. Okay,
It was just a thumbnail, but I was like, oh...
Okay.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff. Anything to do with Charlian, make sure you don't see it. Anything to do with Zodiark, make sure you don't see it. Anything to do with Heidelin, make sure you don't see it. Because yeah, you're gonna end up seeing some spoilers that you shouldn't be a part of. But moving on to the topic of the show, I thought it would be
No, the show is not about Endwalker. You will be surprised.
It really isn't. So I thought it might be fun to discuss games that we believe are long overdue for a sequel. There's a rumor recently that came out that this game called Chrono Cross came out on PlayStation 1, and it was a... What would you say, Theo? Was it a spiritual successor or spiritual sequel to Chrono Trigger? I think it would be, right?
Full-on sequel to Chrono Trigger.
Full-on sequel? Okay, see, I don't remember the game that well. I don't remember Chrono Cross that well. I remember major story beats and obviously Time Scar, and Radical Dreamers.
Like, they tried to be sly about it, but all things considered, with the connections and stuff, it was pretty much a full-on sequel.
Okay, so that game was a sequel. That has been established now. It was a sequel, and there is a huge rumor that there is a HD remake from the ground up coming out for PlayStation 5. They haven't said when is it coming out, but like everything, the Nvidia leaks that occurred a little while ago, there's a lot of games that they mentioned in there, and slowly but surely everything is coming out to be true. So the Chrono Cross remake was one of these things, and they recently released this beautiful trailer for Chrono Cross, and it's a story arc. What's the word, man? When they are in collaboration, they're working in collaboration. Why couldn't I say collaboration? Wow, they're working in collaboration with another game, and it was just one of those team up scenarios, and it's done really well.
Game.
Yeah, there you go. Theo knows. So it's done. So that's where this topic really inspired it for, because there are certain games that we played in the past that we definitely would want to see a sequel. I'm sure if Rohan was here, he would not stop talking about Half-Life 3, right? So I'm going to start with you, Theo, since you're spoiling yourself on other things anyway, so might as well let us know what overdue sequel are you waiting for, sir?
Where the fuck do I even begin? So the thing is, if you looked at the thumbnail for this video, you can pretty much guess the majority of my wish list. I'm wondering how much of the thumbnail both of you guys actually recognize, though. I know Fives would recognize most of it, probably. Yeah. How about you, Daniel?
Daniel's like, there's a thumbnail? I didn't know there was research involved in this. I just thought we had to come up with a game.
It was like, wait, I was supposed to do homework? God damn it. I'm just a young guy playing my young games.
He came up with the game. Yeah, he did the homework for the topic.
But, like, that's a pretty long list I had on the thumbnail. But my top 3 would probably be Metal Gear Rising, Song of the Enders, and Vanquish. But let's be honest, Metal Gear Rising and Song of the Enders, they're made by Kojima Productions. So wishing for a sequel from those two is just straight up delusional. That shit ain't ever happening.
You sure Hideo Kojima won't all of a sudden be like, you know what? Forget Death Stranding 2. Norman Reedus is now in Zone of the Enders. Let's go.
Well, that has to require Konami to actually
give the
head off their ass and release the IP.
Yeah, no, they're never gonna do that. Let's be real.
The head is shoved way too far up their ass.
It really is. It really is. I agree.
But anyways, so the only reasonable option left is Vanquish. And that game got PC.
So Theo froze. So for those that don't
remaster sort of.
He's
full
back.
60 frame. Yeah. Froze just like the old game, just like that game on my computer. But yeah, Vanquish, it got PC remaster. That's like 4K 60 frames. Apparently fucking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping for a sequel for that game.
Yeah, generally if they do release the game on PC, they want to see traction and see if in case they can make some money off an older IP. And it's hard to believe that game came out on PlayStation 3 era.
Yeah. It was, in a way you could say it's... Yeah, maybe you can call it ahead of its time, but it's definitely something very different. Like, Daniel, I think you played Gears of War, Uncharted.
I've done Uncharted. I haven't done Gears of War yet.
You had a 360, you haven't done Gears of War?
Yeah, this
I recently had a 360.
Judgy face right here. You see the judgy face? This is judgy face right here.
Hey, I have a 360. I played Red Dead and Halo. Those are the two. That was pretty much it.
Wow. Okay.
Your hat is judging you off screen as well. You know that, right?
He definitely is. I can feel it. I can feel the energy right now.
I can hear him speaking in my mind. Tell that motherfucker. Tell that young lad.
No, he truly lives up to his name to be a young lad. But joking aside, okay, Vanquish. Do you know Platinum Games, Daniel?
No.
Which game would be the one that he may recognize for Platinum Games?
Like off the top of my head, I don't recognize the name, but
Bayonetta?
I don't think you never played Bayonetta, right? Google it. Platinum Games, they're very good at Nier would be another one too, but I don't think he's heard of. Maybe you've heard of Nier because we discussed it last time. For music.
No.
Okay, they're very good in terms of gameplay and just fighting mechanics. They're very, very good. They make
if you like straight up fast-paced action, Platinum Games is the one to go for right now.
Yeah. I don't recognize
any of
the titles.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah,
it's my kind of game.
Yeah. Okay, Vanquish, huh? Vanquish.
Like, for example, you remember Uncharted? Uncharted is like it's the old school style of cover shooter where you hide, you shoot, you hide back again, reload, and whatever. Vanquish is you hide, jump out, kill everyone, and then hide to reload, and then jump back out and kill everyone.
Very fast paced.
You don't stop.
Okay.
It's that kind.
You
would almost mistake it for a regular action game rather than a shooter.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. Daniel, what about you?
Well, I was initially going to go with GTA because we've all been waiting for GTA. I remember when we all watched the next gen, the PS5 release. Was it video game? Or was it next?
No,
I don't remember.
It was their showcase, and they opened
the showcase. That was it.
They opened it up with.
It popped up with the Rockstar logo, and everyone lost their minds. And then 10 seconds later, we were just like, "Oh,
GTA 5 coming to a fridge near you." Yeah.
So, but GTA is an easy one. It definitely deserves a sequel, and chances of getting one are pretty. So, we'll leave that for another day. But the game I want a sequel to is LA Noire. which is another Rockstar game, but it came out in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been waiting long enough. Like it's been 10 years.
Did you play the remaster?
I did. That was what I was exposed to, was the remaster. Okay. I played it on my PS4, and I loved it. If I was going to go platinum any game, it would probably be that.
Oh, that one was hard.
Yeah,
I know.
I remember playing it when it first came out, and it was like, oh, the facial animation is amazing for its time and everything and so forth. And then in the very first few missions, because there's different sections, right? Like as you get better and better, it gets harder and harder to deduce if in case they're lying or not. So in the very beginning, it's like, I was not over there. And he's like just turning around looking at his face. I'm like, so you're clearly lying. And then later on, it's like, I wasn't there. And you're like, is he lying? Is he not? I don't know anymore. The difficulty spiked up. Yeah, Blue's Clues, man. That would be fun too.
It's definitely a lot of fun. Like I like the fact that it takes you through like different kind of cases and like different areas of like the LAPD. Like you start off as a patrol, and you go off to like a homicide and vice and arson. And you're gonna go through the different units and do different crimes and like the music too, how they incorporate that into like the actual gameplay and like
the setting.
Every time you hear a clue, it's like ding. It's like, oh, there's something over there.
Through all the old 30s American neighborhoods.
Yeah, the setting itself.
So set in late 40s, early 50s, at the end of the World War II. So it's like the music is it's okay. The cars and the environment, weapons, like it was a lot of fun, and it definitely needs a sequel.
Yeah,
like the fact that they had I found playing the game later on, like not when it came out, but later on with the remastered, I was recognizing a lot of the actors in the game in various different shows and stuff like that. Like a couple of cable shows and like police shows, cop shows, that kind of thing. Like there's a lot of actors that were in this game that'd be playing it, and I'm like, I recognize this guy. I mean, it's not A-list celebrities, obviously, but different characters and stuff that play similar characters in the game that they do in different TV shows. So I was like, that's a nice touch. Like they went and pulled people from there, and being with that kind of framework.
To nail the AAA cast. It's Rockstar.
Yeah. So I figure if they try it in these days with the graphics and the game engines that we have now, like doing an LA Noire 2 would be great. But it's Rockstar, so yeah, we may be waiting a while on that. I mean, there's been odd rumors and stuff, like different leaks on Reddit and things like that, but nothing really concrete. So
yeah, rumor has it they were supposed to announce Bully. A sequel to Bully.
Yeah, there's another Rockstar one too.
Yeah, Game Awards, and they have a playable build and everything, and they decided not to go with it. So,
Yeah, now
just have to wait and see. Rockstar is very. You never know with them, really.
Yeah. What were you saying, Theo?
Yeah, LA Noire is like one of the more neglected games when you think about like how long it has been and you haven't heard anything.
When it first came out, yeah, like it was a really good game for its time.
Yeah, it was really big.
Yeah. So, because I remember the marketing. I was working at Best Buy too, so I remember how much they paid for the marketing, right?
At that time, you definitely thought it's definitely going to get a sequel.
Yeah.
And
100%. Theo, you're so right.
Yeah, the game came out 2011. That's when I first moved to Canada. So I remember seeing it on like the bus stop posters and
everywhere,
stuff like that. And I was like, ooh, that looks kind of cool. And didn't have a game console back then, but I was like, that's cool. And that's a cool looking game. And now later on, when I have my PlayStation, I'm like, oh, I gotta play this. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, and I definitely want to do another playthrough one day and try and get the platinum on it. But yeah, we need a second one. It's been long enough.
I have waited for too long.
I'll happily take this game first before GTA 6.
10 years wait.
Yes, you're probably getting a bit stale of the you want something a bit more fresh as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, different setting.
GTA, online is just insane.
Imagine LA Noire set in the 80s. Or you can literally take the characters, right? Like, not the same characters, but I'm talking about like the gameplay mechanics and so forth, and just drop it in for Vice City. I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Or even in like a futuristic setting, like Cyberpunk. Detective Cyberpunk.
Oh, there you go, man.
There's lots of different eras they could use. Like the 80s would be great.
Yeah.
For a game like this.
Yeah. Definitely before
Detective Cyberpunk would just be Ghost in the Shell, though.
That's exactly what it would be. You're absolutely right. Okay. All right. Two good picks. For me, I am going to go with... Okay, so Theo knows about this. Farhad knows a little bit about it, but Daniel, you have no idea what I'm about to say. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a background of these. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's one of those games again, man. This man. So there's a series called Dot Hack. And it is one of the first games that introduced the whole, you finish the game, you keep your save file, and your save file starts with the next game. And you have all your equipment. You have everything. You can do all of that. So
the OG New Game Plus?
Yes. And it would suck because you would get like these ultimate weapons and stuff, and the new game would come out, and all your progress have carried over.
It wasn't New Game Plus. It was like transferring save data from the like prequel to the sequel.
Yeah, no. Yeah. He knows. He's just making jokes. So when
tried.
failed miserably, but mute your mic. So, you're in a 5-minute timeout. But yeah, it's you could carry your progress over. You carried all your armor, everything over, and it was great. It was revolutionary when I played it. Like, I don't know if in the gaming sphere if it was revolutionary, but for me it was like, oh, this is great. And then then when you play like God of War and stuff, and you're like, every single fucking game your powers are getting reset, you're like, why, man? Just let me keep a few. Dot Hack was able to do it. Why can't you? All right. But anyways, so there was this multimedia franchise. So they had TV shows, they had movies, they had OVAs, they had like really, really amazing music. And obviously by TV shows I mean anime, right? So and then they made this video game series. And every single story kind of took place. So the premise is this game called The World. Think of Final Fantasy XIV. Your characters in an MMORPG, you're going in to play the game with your friends. This high-ranking monster kills you, but when you die, you end up in a coma. So you're like, what just happened? And you're literally going on a quest to try to figure out how to save those peoples that are now trapped in the world. So the first game series, there's 4 games in total. Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantine, which is...
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember the covers and everything. And they were great. They talk about like why the game was created and all that stuff. Like there's all these different layers of just parallels of like what ends up happening. They touch base on loneliness, on adoption. There's like so many different themes in the game series. And it
disorder and all that.
It's great. It's wonderful. The game is wonderful. Did not age well because it's a PS2 game. A game is wonderful, but when you also watch the anime and so forth, you get the grander picture of, okay, this is what's happening in the game, this is what's happening in real life, and all that stuff, and blah, blah, blah. But the one good thing about that game was, and even the series, is the music. As I said, if the music of a game is really, really good and it captivates me, I will invest in that series. And the music was amazing for this TV show called Dot Hack Sign. And it then carried a lot of themes and so forth over to Dot Hack, the actual games. And then they released an anime. Later on, they released an anime called Dot Hack Roots. And the anime was not that good. It's a good series, but it's not that good. But the ending of that anime leads directly into the game series.
All right.
So I was like, okay, now they're merging all of that in the same thing. There's 3 games in total, Dot Hack GU. And those 3 games, depending on like when you beat them, everything kind of carries over. All that stuff happens. But you really, truly develop on these characters that originally started in this anime series. And then later on, about 10 years later, they released a small DLC to kind of encapsulate everything and try to help you save this one character that you really, truly admired. I would say he was your mentor. And he was he was into some shady shit. And you find out his reasoning, which was amazing. He was trying to save his sister, and he sacrifices himself to restart this server, so everyone that's connected to it can awaken. And then you go on this quest. And yeah. So you end up going, and you now want to go and figure out what happened to him, right? So. That game, that was the third game, was the first game I've ever pre-ordered in my entire life.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
I remember those days. Yeah,
walking in,
pre-orders just started being a thing.
Yeah, so that series, there was a 20th anniversary recently. They released the DLC, but nothing else has come out of it. There's a very similar show that has been out called Sword Art Online. It's very similar in nature. You die in the game, you die in real life. So it's very similar. It's an MMORPG and everything. And these kids get stuck for years, and he meets his wife, and it goes on a different take.
Yeah.
The premise is very similar.
The life inside the game.
Yeah. And it evolves, but it's a very similar premise. And they have like different storylines and so forth now, and I haven't seen season 4 yet. Season
Not
4 or
quite
5.
as deep, but it's more actiony, I guess.
I 100% agree with that. But it's like, okay, well, there are so many people now that are into RPGs, that are into MMORPGs, that are just like, it is that connected world. We do have virtual reality. We have all of the stuff. So that would be a prime time for them to actually release either a new series or a sequel. And
a fucking MMO.
I would be down with the MMO as well, but I don't know if the MMO will succeed in this time and frame.
Still want it though.
I do too. I do too.
I want to go into the world, all free.
Yeah. But I don't know if an MMO would work that well. But if they were to do something with VR, that would be amazing, right? But nothing as of yet. That series is truly underappreciated in my eyes, because whenever you talk to anyone that loves RPGs, they usually talk about Final Fantasy. They'll talk about Western RPG, like I forgot the name of the series now, with paladins and so forth. Ultima series are point and click adventures and so forth. I've never played any of them, but now with Dragon Age and World of Warcraft, like, you have different type of RPGs that you kind of go with. Tales of whatever they come up with, Japanese versions, right? But like, that's the one RPG that hasn't made a return yet, and I would love to see what it looks like in with modern era consoles. Couldn't say that at all. So.
Modern era consoles and modern era gameplay.
Yes.
Well, if it was that successful on PS2, you never know. Hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah, the studio's still doing stuff. They still sell a lot of stuff, merchandise and all that.
But other stuff, I was surprised that they didn't even bother with a new anime.
It's been a while.
Anything.
It's been like a movie.
Fai's going to start a change.com petition, like, bring back my game.
Change petitions. Okay, this is just my opinion, but they are equivalent to thoughts and prayers. So it doesn't change anything, man. If that was the case, they would redo fucking Game of Thrones last season.
Yeah. Oh, everyone would throw in money for that.
Kickstarter it, man. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Fix it. Fucking fix
Even
it.
just an animation.
Yeah, I'll take animation. I will 100% take animation. I'll have someone read everything to me, bro. Just a script read.
We don't even need him to act.
Myself.
Oh, wasted.
Yeah, it's cool that you're able to transfer everything between games. Like, there's not many games that really do that anymore.
I think the only other one I can think of is Mass Effect.
Mass Effect was the only other one that did that, and that was revolutionary for the time as well, because people were like, "Oh, your decisions."
Yeah,
they go
Saga as well. But
no. Xenosaga did not transfer all your levels and stuff.
Oh, yeah, just a little,
yeah. In terms of equipment and so forth, and you didn't get everything. But that
Yakuza was like that as well, right? Yakuza was like that as well. You get a little bit of
if you played the original ones, they'll give you 2 or 3 things as a thank you. And it's just like armor pieces or like costumes that would carry over, and you can now.
That's really different, though. That's like if you pre-order the game, you'll get some of the
Mass
stuff.
Effect was the one.
Yeah, Mass Effect carried your decisions, which is the reason why there was such a huge backlash for the finale. They fixed it, but I wonder what would happen if they would to release that game now in this day and age, because that was the news. That was reported. I remember seeing it on CNN. And that's like what, 2012 when it came out. Like, there was such a huge backlash then. I wonder what would happen now. Like, these guys they got death threats then. Like, it's gonna be even worse now, right? So, which obviously I don't condone, because like that's ridiculous. Like, it's just a video game. Relax.
I don't know why people do that.
But let's be honest, all those death threats, like, they never actually come to anything.
You never know.
Why it's the internet.
You never know. I don't
trust. This day and age,
you never know, man.
That's true.
You never know. It just takes
like,
one person.
With games like Last of Us, like Last of Us 2, for example. Like, why did I have to relearn how to make, Molotovs and things like that, right? Like, it's like the odd small things like that, where if they throw that into like a sequel, like that'd be pretty cool. Like, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Horizon
and God of War.
When worked hard for those extra, the powerful armor, like the ancient artifact armor, which is like the one with like the shielding and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, can I still have that? I worked hard for that. Mm-hmm. Can that be the base armor, and then I get to something even cooler? Like, the progression tree just starts from the top level of the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting to see if it does that, but most games don't really, do they?
As long as they don't give me base alloy in the second game, she better not come with only a spear and her bow.
That kind of stuff kind of sucks. I do think Ratchet and Clank gave you some weapons as well too. Now I think about it, for like it let you carry certain weapons, or you could go and buy the weapons right off the bat. You don't have to unlock them again. I could be wrong, but that seems like something I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. But if they strip Aloy of everything, but they still give her like, oh yeah, she understands how everything works, and now you have a few items that stuck with you, that's still fine. But if I have to relearn how to hack the machines, that's a problem. Like, what happened?
It all depends on like the storyline and how they explain it, right? If they say, she traveled hard from one zone to the other, carried everything with her, then sure, we'd have that. If it was like, by some mysterious thing, she ended up on the other side of the world with nothing, like, I get it. Stumbles into like a teleportation
Make
thing.
it a story beat?
Yeah,
sure.
Bring it into the story kind of thing. That I'd be okay with. But if they kind of just start the game and go, surprise, you now walked from one side of the country to the other, but you don't have anything else.
Theo, don't say anything yet. There is a series, because I know you're thinking about it. There's a series that makes it a story beat as well. It's a little tiny series. I don't know if you know about it. It's not that big. It's a niche audience for it, called Kingdom Hearts. just a small little fucking game series. They just have a few concerts here and there, and diehard fans.
It's an indie game, right?
It's a small indie game. But yeah, no, Kingdom Hearts.
Indie game produced by this very small company that made Endwalker.
Yeah,
maybe you haven't.
Just a small company. But yeah, no, they did that. Every single fucking time, Sora, the main character, he doesn't have all of his powers. What happened to him? Oh yeah, it's he slept for a year. What? His power got lost.
Magic away.
He has to remember.
He lost all his power. He lost all his powers along with his clothes. That's what usually.
It's still stupid, but yeah, put effort. That's my point. God of War right now too. When the new trailer that they released, when I'm watching through it, you can see that he kept a lot of his shit. So that 100%, I'm all on board. Made me feel like the god, because from the first game to the second game opens up. You have all of your powers that you attained at the end of the first game. And then Zeus comes down and goes, nope, fuck you, kills you, sends you to Hades, and strips you of your powers. So that's a cool story beat, but it's why did you even let me play as a god?
Why let me get to this point?
Assassin's Creed, the first one, Altair, he was a master assassin. And then they're like, no, you fucked up. I don't remember what he did. He stole a chicken. I don't fucking know. You did something, and nope, we're stripping you of your rank, thus your powers, and now you have to go back and relearn everything. And it's but in theory, if you strip me of my power, and let's say if I knew how to kill people, I was an assassin, and you strip me of my rank, doesn't mean my knowledge of assassinating. It's still there. I still know how to kill people. Why would that?
It's not like they were mystical beings. All they had was just knowledge, experience, and cool weapons. So if you take the weapons away, you still got the knowledge.
Man in Black, this with the pen. I never understood that.
In 1350, whatever,
Although they did have an artifact that was called Apple of Eden that could control your mind. So there is that possibility. But I don't remember
aliens, man.
Yeah.
It's always aliens.
Ancient civilizations. It's always ancient civilizations that we think are aliens. But no, they lived here for years, man. They lived here for years.
Assassin's Creed History Channel merger.
Oh my god, Assassin's Creed, that stupid ass game. I love that series, bro. I love that series.
You're still so bitter about it, aren't you?
I am so bitter about the last one. What was it called? The Vikings one? Valhalla.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember the name. I was gonna say Odyssey. Bro, how do you why go from Odyssey to this? You introduce so many
we were talking about sequels that we wanted. This is the sequel that we did not want.
Yeah.
I wanted a sequel, but I just didn't want it to be like this. Come on, make the story a little bit more tangible, man. There's nothing. Why am I doing what I'm doing?
We'll definitely do a whole video on Assassin's Creed. I'm sure you'll have one of your legendary rants.
Oh my god, Assassin's Creed, man. We gotta include Farhad on that conversation.
Yeah.
Possibly Nima.
And see what he has to say. Pent up anger out.
Oh my god. But yes, Dot Hack, for me, it would be definitely that game. I hope they do something. They do something soon with that game. But for my side, that would be it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a great conversation. Hopefully you guys finish Shadowbringers and get Endwalker, so we can have that conversation too. But me and Farhad are very, very close to finishing it, so we're definitely going to do a discussion video, which I'm guessing you guys will not be a part of. But
I would not so much as touch it.
Exactly.
I would not.
But if you've seen the spoilers, Theo, I mean,
you've already ruined it for yourself.
So might as well.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Not that far in, thankfully.
Yeah, we'll see. But as always, thank you so much for listening and watching us wherever you are, either streaming, viewing, or listening from. We are now also on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and I think Google as well, right, Daniel?
I gotcha. We'll check that one.
Okay.
I tried. It said it would give it a few days. I haven't looked into it since.
Well, we are definitely...
I will double check.
We're definitely on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So please leave us a review. Leave us a review And just let us know what you think, if you like to see any changes or any new topic of discussions. What game do you think deserves a sequel that's been long overdue? Comment down below and let us know. And as always, Patreon, please, if you like to support this channel, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, you're more than welcome. We would encourage it if you'd like to jump on Patreon and definitely support the cause. But with that said, we'll be back next week with a brand new topic to discuss. Until then, sending you all nothing but good vibes from your friend at Cast 5. Ciao.
See you guys later.
Next time.